Hello! It is officially spring break, and even though we are not meeting together for our Zoom circles this week, I thought it would be fun to read The Country Bunny and the Little Gold Shoes by Bose Heyward. Now, this book was written a very long time ago in 1939. That's a long time ago. This is a classic. So, in honor of spring break, I'm going to read to you The Country Bunny. And it's kind of a long story, so there's going to be two parts to this video. All right? So here we go. The Country Bunny. We hear of the Easter Bunny who comes each Easter day before sunrise to bring eggs for boys and girls. So we think there is only one. But this is not so. There are really 5 Easter bunnies, and they must be the 5 kindest and swiftest and wisest bunnies in the whole wide world, because between sunset on Easter Eve and dawn on Easter morning, they do more work than most rabbits do in a whole year. When one of the Easter bunnies grows old and can no longer run fast, the old, wise, and kind grandfather bunny, who lives in the palace of Easter eggs, calls all the bunnies together from the whole world to select the very best one to take the place. Often a mother bunny says to her child, "Now if you learn to be wise and kind and swift, someday you may grow up to be one of the Easter bunnies." And all of the bunnies try their very best so that they can grow up and go to work for the grandfather bunny at the palace of Easter eggs. One day a little country girl bunny, whose name was Cottontail, said, "Someday I shall grow up to be an Easter bunny. You wait and see." There's the 5 Easter bunnies. Oh. Then all of the big bunnies who lived in fine houses and the jackrabbits with long legs who can run so fast laughed at little Cottontail and told her to go back and eat a carrot. But she said, "You wait and see." The little girl Cottontail grew up to be a young lady Cottontail, and by she had a husband, and then one day, much to her surprise, there were 21 Cottontail babies to take care of. Oh my goodness, can you see all those babies? She has so many bunny rabbits to take care of. Then the big rabbits and the jacks with the long legs laughed and laughed, and they told her, "See, now you can never be an Easter bunny." Oh my goodness, that made Cottontail feel so sad. Now we know that that is teasing, and that is not being very kind, is it? Mm-mm. We know better than that. Cottontail stopped thinking about hopping over the world with lovely eggs for little girls and boys. Now we are going to have some fun. And she did. She taught 2 of them how to sweep the cottage, and she taught 2 how to make the beds. 2 more went to the kitchen and in no time at all had found out how to cook a good dinner. And with these went the 2 little dishwashers, and they made the glasses shine like crystal. 2 had little wash tubs full of soap suds, and they washed all the linen. And 2 did the sewing and mending. They are all working together. They're doing teamwork. 2 had sweet voices and were taught to sing, and 2 more to dance, and these amused all the others while they worked so that they were gay and happy. 2 others were soon digging in the garden. To 2 she gave paints and crayons, and they would make pretty pictures for the walls. And when Mother Cottontail had given out all of the tasks, she looked around, and there was only one little boy bunny left, and he was sad and lonely. Then Mother Cottontail said to him, "You are the most polite of all my children, so I shall make you keeper of my chair. And whenever I come to dinner, you shall seat me politely at the table." Then one day, when the little rabbits were half grown up, she heard a great talk among the woods. Rabbits were asked from all around, "Haven't you heard? One of the 5 Easter bunnies has grown too slow, and we are all going to the Palace of the Eggs to see old grandfather pick out a new one to take their place." So she called her little cottontails, and they all set off to the palace to see the fun. But their mother was sad because she thought now she was nothing but an old mother bunny and could only look on, and that a big handsome rabbit or a long-legged Jack would be chosen to be Easter bunny. When they came to the Palace of Easter Eggs, there were bunnies everywhere on the great lawn, and the ones that hoped to be Easter bunnies stood together, and all the others looked at them and clapped their paws. Then the big front door opened, and the old, wise, and kind grandfather came hopping slowly out. And he told the biggest and those who had the longest legs to show what they could do. They jumped and ran and showed him their pretty fur, and they were all very fast and very clever. But still he did not pick one, and he said to them, "You are pretty and you are fast, but you have not shown me that you are either kind or wise." Then his old kind eyes looked everywhere, and at last they rested on little Cottontail Mother, where she stood with her children around her. And he called her to come right up to the palace steps. So she took her 21 children and went up and stood before him. And when he spoke, his voice was so kind that she was not frightened at all. And he said, "What a large family you have, my dear. I suppose they take all of your time." But she said, "When they were babies, that was so, but now they are so helpful that they do most of the work for me." "Ah," he said, smiling, "you must be very wise to have so many helpful children. But tell me, do they always look so happy, and do they always hold their ears up so prettily?" "Indeed they do," she answered. "We never have a tear or cross word in our little country cottage, and if I do say it myself, they do carry their ears better than most bunnies." "Then," he said, patting the nearest bunny on the head, "you must be very kind indeed to have such a happy home." "It is too bad that you have had no time to run and grow swift, as I might then have made you my 5th Easter bunny." At that, Mother Cottontail started to laugh, and then she whispered to the little bunnies, and every rabbit on the lawn looked to see what would happen, and the old grandfather leaned forward to watch. Suddenly, all of her 21 children raced away, and Cottontail dashed after them. There they go, they're all running away. So Mother Cottontail dashed after all of her 21 children, and in no time at all, she had them all back again in front of the palace. Then the old kind, wise grandfather bunny said, "I see that you are swift also. It is too bad that you cannot go to carry my eggs, because you will have to stay at home to take care of your children." Mother Cottontail nodded her head to the little ones, so they all formed a line and bowed low to the grandfather. Then she stepped in front of them, and she said, "They will take better care of the house than I." Then she called them up 2 by 2, and as she put her hands on the heads of each pair, she said, "These are my sweepers. They keep the cottage as clean as your hand. These make the beds without a wrinkle. These cook my dinner. These wash my dishes. These tend the garden. These wash and dry all the clothes. These do the mending. These sing, and these dance to keep us merry while we work. These are learning to paint pretty pictures for our walls. And the littlest one of all always pulls out my chair for me when I sit to table." So you see, I can leave them to take care of the house until I come home. Then the old wise and kind grandfather said, "You have proved yourself to be not only wise and kind and swift, but also very clever. Come to the palace tomorrow afternoon, for that is Easter Eve, and you shall be my 5th Easter bunny." So I'm going to stop there for part 1. I hope you'll tune in for part 2. Bye.